Season 4 of F1 My Team Career Mode is here. We're back in Bahrain for the start of this season, just like we did last season and in Season 1. So let's see how this one goes for us. Looking at R&D quickly, we did look at this in the last video, but if you haven't seen that one or just need a refresher, this is what the R&D looks like starting off Season 4. Aston Martin have definitely done the best. They are fairly convincingly actually the quickest on R&D at the moment. And then just behind them, we've got myself and then McLaren, Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, all kind of in a cluster there, but Aston Martin fairly sizably the lead car at the moment on R&D, so we'll have to see if that continues throughout the season and how they go in this first race. As we get underway in Q1, they get very close to Liam Lawson in the Haas. He was just finishing a lap and we were just starting a second push lap in a row, and nearly had a collision there. That was a very scary moment, but thankfully we didn't lose too much time, and actually in the end we ended up going purple through sector 1, so we really kind of lost much time at all, because yeah, going purple with that going on must mean that we're pretty good through the first sector, and that did seem to be the case. We were very good through sector 1, a little bit slower through sectors 2 and 3, but nothing terrible. Alexander Albon, my new teammate, went quickest in Q1, so showing that our car does have some good pace, despite, I mean, we are the second quickest on R&D, and we are a little bit ahead of McLaren and the cars behind, who are very much in a cluster of cars, but we're close enough to them to consider ourselves pretty much the same as them. Aston Martin are a little bit further ahead though, so, you know, depending on how they can do their lineup, not sure how their lineup's going to be. I mean, George Russell, he's proven, he's won plenty of races at Mercedes in seasons 1 and 2. Did he win some races in season 2? I think he might have. He definitely won some in season 1 though. And yeah, last season no wins for him, but it was his first season at Aston Martin, and Aston Martin didn't really have the best car last season, especially for the majority of the season. Only ended up with, I think, 1 podium in the end, so, and that was in Bahrain, the season opener. So Russell will be hoping for more things, and of course Iwasa, the second driver at that team, still a fairly rookie driver. I mean, he's done a few seasons now, got a few seasons under his belt, but he's definitely not quite the caliber of a lot of the drivers around him, and doesn't have the experience. Q2, and big shock, Albon is actually out of qualifying, so is Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. That was, I think, mainly, especially with Albon, because he got in this kind of cluster of like 4 cars, and they were just tripping over each other and couldn't improve on their second lap time. So unfortunately Albon is out of qualifying. I don't think it's because of pace though, I think it was just kind of bad luck, bad positioning, and getting caught out on that last quick lap. As we get underway in Q3 here, pretty cautious through turn 1. We're actually a little bit down on our quickest time. I believe this is the final kind of push lap that I did after doing, you know, I think I did a 1 push lap at the start of the session on old tyres, and then I did 2 in a row at the end of the session. This is that second and final lap. So although we were a little bit slow, we do just about go green through sector 1, and we are now starting to make a little bit more time through sector 2, because this must have been where I wasn't quite as good on my previous lap. We're still not massively up, only just about a 10th. Kind of, you know, going between just under and just over a 10th of a second. Then though, we go down this next straight with DRS, and we're looking a little bit better now. Still not massively up, but I mean, we're sitting P5 at the moment. We're still in a pretty good position, and it is very close with the whole field here. So we don't have to improve a whole lot to make a decent game. We're still sitting P5. I reckon everybody's now crossed the line. We are the last one to do so. So we're going to be at least P5 here. And as we now come down towards the final corner, we're now 2 tenths up on our previous time. So this could be a very handy time here. We could be going for pole in this first race of the season. Head around the final corner, lose a little bit more speed going down towards the finish line here. In the end though, it's P2 for us, and it's pole position for Ayumu Iwasa. He gets his first pole position in Formula 1, beats his teammate George Russell, so that's pretty big news there. So let's see what Iwasa can do, but we are in an Aston Martin sandwich. Aston Martin are proving that they do seem to have a very quick car, so how will it do in the race? How will we do in the race? Let's see for this Bahrain Grand Prix.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. We'll be racing around 3.36 miles bowels of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit today. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left down into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Ayumu Iwasa lines up on pole position, and Davies completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Russell, Tsunoda, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, De Vries, Sainz, Norris, Leclerc, Albon, Drugovich, Sargent, Bottas, Gasly, Doohan, Liam Lawson, Ocon, Magnussen, Verstappen, Joe, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. And now it's time to head down to the track. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as once again we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice, and they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
It's time to get going for Season 4. 5 red lights on for the Bahrain Grand Prix. And now the lights are out and we get a very good start. Iwasa does not get a good start at all from pole position. He started on hard compound tyres for some reason, which is an absolute disaster. Why have the Aston Martin put him on hard tyres, as we actually have to defend a little bit from Tsunoda in the Ferrari, who's had a very good start. He's up to P2 ahead of Russell, who is still there in third but has been overtaken by Tsunoda. But yeah, I don't know what Aston Martin were thinking with Iwasa, putting him on hard tyres. It's very rare you see drivers start on the hards, never mind from pole position. So yeah, that could have, I mean, he's probably going to be quite quick towards the end of the race, but he's really going to have a tough time in this first half of the race. As we continue on here, a little bit of pressure from Tsunoda behind actually. That Ferrari is technically kind of the back of the top group of cars, so I think like 6 cars in like the top group, if you are also counting Aston Martin. Ferrari are technically at the back of that train, but we have seen them performing pretty well, even though they haven't had, you know, the quickest car on R&D. I mean, they were fighting for the championship last season. They won the Constructors' Championship last season. So they have a good car and they have good drivers between them. Tsunoda's really shown a lot of potential last season with Ferrari. He was decent at my team in Season 2, but really it's last season where Tsunoda really took the fight to Leclerc a lot of times. Did finish behind him a bit in the standings, but still a very good fight for him considering the experience difference. And he's sticking behind me here on this first lap as we cross the line. We are going to cross the line in first place, so we've led this first lap of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Let's see what the rest has in store. My teammate Alexander Albon also had a pretty good start actually. He's already made up a couple of positions from where he started. He's now trying to get past Oscar Piastri for what I believe is P7 on the road here. So he's fighting. He started P12, remember. He's already fighting here for P7. He might have actually started P11 because of a grid penalty for, I think it was Verstappen, wasn't it? Verstappen took a grid penalty. So he's made up and he's passed Piastri. So already there, he's made up, what, 3 positions? So very good start for my teammate. Just behind me, Tsunoda is now starting to come under pressure. After a very good start to this race, he is now feeling the pressure from the Aston Martin. George Russell manages to go round the outside before they even get onto the main straight around the final corner, but Tsunoda is going to come back. Russell might have tried to go a little bit too early here, despite Russell having DRS and Tsunoda not. Tsunoda's actually managed to get alongside and is going to go side by side with Russell into turn 1 through turn 2 and turn 3, and he is actually going to stay ahead. So very good defensive driving there from Yuki Tsunoda to keep that battle going, but it is in vain in the end, because next time around, next lap, Russell will get in the DRS, and this time he will make the move down into turn 1 and be well clear by the time they get into turn 1. Now Russell's in second place and is going to now surely charge after myself in P1. As we continue on here, lap number 6 for us, and as you can see, the gap is actually relatively decent to Russell behind. He's not absolutely catching us at a rate of knots. We're not really getting away from him massively either, and I am pushing a decent amount at this point in time. But at the same time, I have an idea that he's probably going to catch me. Tsunoda is somewhat keeping with him though, but we'll have to see how that pans out. Tsunoda's teammate of Leclerc just been overtaken by his old teammate Carlos Sainz in the Red Bull, who gets past for that position. And Lewis Hamilton, the defending world champion from Season 3, he's actually looking at a move for third place in this race on Yuki Tsunoda, who has fallen back quite a bit now after that good start, just showing that maybe that Ferrari does not quite have the pace of the cars around it, especially in some circumstances, and Hamilton is going to get up into third place, so the defending champion now up onto the podium, so that's a good start for him. Iwasa now, he was on pole position, remember, he's now finally on lap number 8 starting to fight back. He's got Nick De Vries, Hamilton's teammate at Mercedes, in front of him. He goes down the inside, into turn 1. This is the same time as the Leclerc and Tsunoda, the Hamilton and Tsunoda battle is happening. There we see Hamilton get past Iwasa, and De Vries still battling it out here though. De Vries really trying to hang on to this position. He has actually had a pretty good qualifying in the Mercedes, only just qualifying behind Hamilton, and he actually stays ahead of Iwasa this time around. But just like earlier with Russell and Tsunoda, Iwasa will make the move. This time he's actually going for it down into the final corner like Russell tried to do on Tsunoda. It didn't work for him at that point in time. Thankfully this time though for Iwasa, he doesn't quite actually get past, and that means he can duck back into the slipstream, back out again. They both have DRS, so it's now just a drag race down to turn 1. Iwasa on the inside, De Vries on the outside, giving this one a good battle. The two fairly inexperienced drivers, I mean, they've got 4 seasons of racing now between like each. Well, Iwasa is actually a little bit less than that because he was only, I think he actually only has like 2.5 seasons technically, but yeah, Iwasa in the end does manage to get past. Lap number 10 for us, and as you can see, Russell has now caught up. We've kind of gapped Tsunoda and Hamilton behind a little bit here, so showing good pace, you know, with those guys battling as well. You can see on the minimap Iwasa's right behind them as well, but yeah, Russell is right behind us now, and he is putting some considerable pressure on. I'm going fairly hard at the moment, and yeah, that Aston Martin, especially in the hands of Russell on those medium compound tyres, same strategy as us. It is quick. The pace on paper for that Aston Martin seems to be coming into fruition with the race as well. Russell will be going for his first win at Mercedes here. It'll be his first win since he was his first win for Aston Martin, his first win since he was at Mercedes, but he has to stay behind us for now. My teammate Alex Albon is now trying to get past Nick De Vries. He dives to the inside. Rather late lunge there for Albon. Doesn't quite manage to get past that time around, but he's going to tuck back into the slipstream, and he's going to get the second dose of DRS down to turn 4. De Vries tries to go defensive, but doesn't quite manage to go defensive enough. Russell up the inside. They're going to be side by side. Oh, De Vries a little bit too wide there. Gets a bit of a snap of the rear end, and that lets Albon past. Lap 14, and we're now coming into the pits for our one and only pit stop onto hard compound tyres. That puts Russell into the lead of this race. He doesn't come in for another lap. It's another good pit stop by the team. We've had a lot of good pit stops recently. I'm guessing that's going to come to an end soon now that I've said that. But so far it's been pretty good on the pit stop front for TGL Motorsport. We come out of the pits in P5 in the end, and all the cars ahead of us have not pit yet, so we'll see what this has to shake up for the race. As you can see there, Russell on the inside, he's just come into his pit stop. We go into turn 1, he has a little bit of a look up the inside there, but we will stay ahead, and on fresher tyres, well, on warmed up tyres should I say, we will stay ahead of him for now, but I think he's going to be putting quite a bit of pressure on us later on. My teammate as well had a very good pit stop and has actually already managed to find himself past Iwasa and is now fighting with Tsunoda, the man that was once in second. Albon started in 11th, and he is now battling Tsunoda for what I think is actually P4? I think this is actually P4, isn't it? Because Hamilton's ahead in P3, then you've got Russell, and then you've got myself. So yeah, Albon is now battling for P4 in this race, so this would be an amazing comeback for him if he could bring this result to fruition here, showing that the car does have pace. He's not able to get past Tsunoda at this point in time, and he does have Iwasa behind him, putting a bit of pressure on as well. And actually, Iwasa's now going to seek an opportunity on my teammate. He's going to try and go round the outside of the final corner. He seems to like doing this move, Iwasa, in in this Bahrain Grand Prix. He gets past Albon, but I think it's going to be a similar situation to what happened with Russell, where Albon's going to come back at Iwasa as they head down into turn 1. Tsunoda's on the inside as well. It's very nearly 3 wide going into turn 1. Tsunoda is looking in his mirrors thinking, what is going on behind me? But please keep going on because I can kind of scarper off in front. And Iwasa does manage to get ahead of Albon, so he's now fallen down 2 positions. We're continuing on with a lot of pressure behind from George Russell. He is definitely the quickest car on track. He has the purple lap time as well. He has the fastest lap of the race. We're going to stay ahead for this point in time, but maybe not, because we've got a gearbox issue. It's only yellow, so maybe we'll be able to continue on. I'm not really sure. No, we're not. We're not going to be able to continue. That is it. Russell takes the lead of the race, and we are out of the Bahrain Grand Prix. We are retiring from the first race of the season and from leading the race. I don't know if we would have gone on to win this one because Russell was very quick, but he was struggling to get past me. So yeah, from the lead of the race, we DNF first race of season 4. That is very unfortunate.
Aston Martin deserved a win today, and they got it. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
I can see them on their way out to the podium now. Aston Martin are really making waves in this sport, and what a special race this was to see them earn that top spot.
It's very exciting to see George Russell back there on the top step of the podium, but this time in the green Aston Martin overalls, and it's a 1-2 for Aston Martin because Iwasa manages to fight back to second place. So what a start to this season it has been for Aston Martin. They only had 1 podium last season. They've just got a double podium, a 1-2 in the first race. Hamilton, the ever consistent, manages to lock up P3 there as well, so it's a good race from the defending world champion to get that 3rd place. And Albon in the end does manage to get P4, so he gets past Tsunoda. De Vries gets past Tsunoda as well, so perhaps that Ferrari pace just lacking a little bit towards the end of the race. But yeah, it's a good result for Albon, picking up some good points for the team. But it's very unfortunate for us. Yeah, a DNF for us is really quite unfortunate when we were looking to possibly win that race. Definitely second place. I mean, maybe Iwasa would have come through and got us, but I think we were for sure for a podium. And in the end, Oscar Piastri actually DNF'd as well, so it's very unfortunate for him. He was also fairly well in the points in the Constructors' Championship, and Aston Martin are leading the championship. Sorry if you can hear that beeping in the background. That is one of my alarms, my partner's alarm going off, but she's not home at the moment. Aston Martin lead, Mercedes 2nd, we are in 3rd, Ferrari 4th, Red Bull 5th, and McLaren in 6th. Everybody else not yet scoring a point. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.